Hi guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel, Cooks by Carrie. If you're new here, I'm Carrie, and for today's video, I'm sharing how to make these easy dinner rolls from spendwithpennies.com. These were so good and delicious, and flaky, buttery, everything was perfect about this recipe, and I'm going to show you exactly how to make them. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So for this recipe, you are going to need some warm tap water, oil, sugar, yeast, salt, a beaten egg, softened butter, and flour, and a little bit of milk at room temperature. Now to get warm tap water, I recommend Googling how the temperature of warm water, which I believe it's not that hot. Or I can just tell you. A warm temperature is generally between 110 and 90 degrees Fahrenheit. So you want to be really careful not to use boiling water, not to use super hot water, because this will be bad for like when you're making the reaction with the yeast. It won't be good for your recipe. You want to make sure it's like just exactly warm. But yeah, these are all the ingredients, and most of them you probably already have on hand. Okay, so to start out, I'm going to combine 1 cup water, oil, sugar, and yeast in a large bowl. And at this point, also preheat your oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, when it said combine in the recipe, I wasn't really sure how much I was supposed to mix it. A little bit, a lot, because yeast can be kind of like particular to work with. But my dad, who's made bread before, suggested that I kind of mix it up until some of the like sugar and has kind of dissolved. So I started with a spatula, but then I switched to a fork to continue mixing it all up. So yeah, I just recommend it's kind of like a trial and error. Like I wouldn't say over mix it, but just mix it kind of enough to where it's sort of looking like one mixture. But of course, we are going to leave it to get bubbly for about 8 minutes, so it doesn't have to be like completely mixed. Just maybe 1 minute or 2 minutes worth of mixing. Alrighty, so this is what I saw when I came back after 8 minutes, and I was really happy with how it looked because, like I said before, yeast can be kind of tricky, but it bubbled up just like it was supposed to. Okay, so me being a little bit silly, I accidentally skipped the next step, which was to stir in a beaten egg, softened butter, and salt. But I missed that. So instead, what you're seeing here is with a stand mixer, I'm adding flour about a cup at a time, a little bit less, and then I'm waiting till I have a soft dough that is not sticky. Now I do go ahead and go back and add the beaten egg in, the softened butter, and the salt, so it is okay in the end. And I think that I'm still showing this process because I want you guys to know, like, even if you make a small mistake in a recipe like this, it's not going to alter the ending of the recipe. I still ended up with these delicious, flaky, buttery little bread that breads, I almost said, little breads, I don't know, little bread rolls. That's the word I'm looking for. I don't know why I just blanked on that. That were so good. So even if you make a small mistake like me, don't worry, you'll still have a good end result. And here is a closer up shot of how the bread was looking. It was not sticking to the sides anymore. I had poked it a couple times and it wasn't sticking to me anymore, so I decided that this was perfect. Also, I forgot to mention that kneading was 5 minutes with my stand mixer. If you're doing it by hand, it will take you probably about 10 minutes. So at this point, I did realize, oh, I didn't add the egg in, I didn't add the butter, I didn't add the salt. So I'm going ahead and adding that in right now, and then I'm going to mix it all up. And then I believe I do end up adding more flour in as a result because, you know, the dough got way stickier again, so I just had to add a little bit more flour in. So yeah, and also if you're worried about the butter clump like not mixing in, or you know, if you happen to make this mistake like I did, it mixed in fine, so don't worry about it. And everything turned out like I said, so Alrighty guys, now before I continue with this video, please subscribe, hit that thumbs up, comment down below you'd like to see next, and share this video with a friend. I have a goal of 100 subscribers, and I'm about a quarter of the way there. So if you could really help me with that, that would be greatly appreciated. Also, don't forget to hit that notification bell so you get notified when I post a new video. Alrighty guys, let's continue with this video. Alrighty, so here was the next step of the recipe. Look at that beautiful bread dough. So I poured it out on my countertop. It was clean, and just using a butter knife. You want to be careful if you're doing this on your countertop because you don't want to scrape your countertop or anything like that. I am dividing my dough into 18 even pieces and forming them into balls. Now, you could use a baking scale for this to weigh them out to all be even. However, I didn't really feel that strongly about this, so I just went in with my hands and just did it like that. Also, make sure you have clean hands. My hands were clean during this video. So yeah, also, also, most of you might not have a baking scale, so it's good that I showed you this technique, because it's really not necessary. The next step was to add them to a greased pan and cover them with parchment paper and a kitchen towel. So that's what I'm doing here. And also, keep in mind, I try to space them out, but for dinner rolls, at least dinner rolls that, this type of dinner roll, they kind of all will stick together, and then you kind of pull them apart. So it's okay if they're going to stick together, because since we've formed them into these little balls, they will be able to be removed from each other after they cook. But yeah, you just want to find enough room. Now, maybe I would have wanted a teeny bit of a bigger hand pan, but this pan was really fine. So anything you got on hand will work. Alrighty, so after the 10 minutes, I took the towels off, or whatever, towel parchment, and actually you can tell that they did actually rise a little bit, so I was really happy about that. They looked really beautiful, and I was really excited. Also, make sure that you're putting these to rise in a semi-warm place. I just left them in my kitchen because, my oven was heating up, so it was warm, but just make sure it's not a cold room. And then I'm brushing them with milk. Now, preferably you want to do this with a pastry brush, or, there's silicone pastry brushes too, the ones that, they're easy to spread this type of stuff on. But I actually had used mine, so I didn't have one to use. So I just used this mini spatula and kind of just put it everywhere. I did find it interesting that this recipe wanted to use milk on top instead of an egg. I don't know, maybe because an egg it would be a little bit more wasteful, since I probably wouldn't need the full egg. But the milk on top is to make crispy brown tops. So yeah, that's why we're putting it on there. You don't have to do this step, but I would. It makes the rolls really pretty and, a little bit crunchy on top. So yeah, just spread it all over all your rolls. Alright, so now it's time to put the loaves in the oven. As you can see, my oven I think was actually at 450, but that's because my oven's really weird. Make sure yours is at a true temperature of 400 and place them in the oven. And you are going to want to cook them for about 10 to 12 minutes, but I believe mine took way longer than that. Probably 20 minutes or so, but maybe after 10 to 12 minutes, just keep checking every 2. And here was the final product of the rolls. They were so flaky, so buttery. I know I've said it multiple times now, but I cannot express how good these rolls are. They're perfect for a chicken dinner, or any dinner for that matter. So if you try them out, let me know in the comments down below if my tips were helpful. And again, this recipe came from spendwithpennies.com. Alrighty guys, that's it for today's video, and this finishes off the bread series. For my upcoming videos, please let me know in the comments down what you'd like to see. I'm really open to suggestions, or I'll just keep on making what I want to make, and hopefully you guys like that. Also, make sure to follow me on Instagram at Cooks by Carrie. I post lots of fun posts of the food I cook, and also some updates over there. Sometimes if I miss a video or stuff like that. And that's it for today's video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and turn that notification bell on. Alrighty, bye guys.